Hello everyone, this is Dr.Syamala Devi from the Department of MBA International Business, Acharya Nagarjuna University. And our today's topic is regarding evolution of management thought. So, in previous classes we have studied about what is a management and introduction of management, okay? And now coming to, we will learn the evolution of management thought, okay? So we all know that management as a functional concept, it is as old as the human civilization, okay? So ever since human beings started living together in groups, techniques of organization and management were evolved. Why? Because human beings, they are started living together in groups, forming in groups. So there is requirement of techniques of organization and managements were evolved. So despite ancient origin, very little conceptual and organized body of knowledge was developed in management till the end of 19th century, okay? A systematic study and analysis of management as a science began from 20th century, okay? From 20th century, actual systematic study and analysis of management has begun. And in 20th century, after the industrial revolution, we can say that, okay, after industrial revolution, this has systematic study and analysis of management has been growing, okay? Since then, management has developed as a distinct discipline and as a social science. It is now recognized, it is now developed as a distinct discipline. It is also a separate subject, okay, and also as a social science. And in the past few decades, management knowledge has undergone radical changes, okay? There have been substantial contributions to the management theory by scholars from different fields, including psychology, sociology, anthropology, mathematics, economics, and political science, okay? So in addition to those scholars, administrators and executives also working both in economic as well as non-economic organizations, including business, health, army, and churches also, okay? They also have contributed to the development of this field, means for the management field. So each one has propounded his own theory of management, the scholars, the writers, okay, the theorists. Therefore, several approaches to the study of management have emerged over the years. So if we want to speak what are those approaches, means mainly the main approaches to the study of management are classical approach, neoclassical approach, and modern approach, okay? So under this classical approach, okay, we are going to study about bureaucratic theory, scientific management theory, administrative theory, okay? So all these theories comes under classical approach, okay? Likewise, human relations theory and behavioral theory, these comes under the neoclassical approach. And if we see this modern approach, under modern approach we will study about quantitative theory, contingency theory, and systems theory, okay? So first of all, if we see this classical approach, this classical approach is also known as traditional approach, okay, or else management process approach or empirical approach. Once again I am repeating, classical approach is also known as traditional approach or management process approach or empirical approach, okay? So what are the main features of this classical approach, okay? What does this classical approach says? Means, see, management is viewed as a systematic network of interrelated functions. So This classical approach says that management has a systematic network, organized structure of interrelated functions. Okay, and this is also based on the experiences of practicing managers. Why? Because at that time in 19th century, before that, we don't have any principles. Okay, the experiences of practicing managers are the principles that are developed. Okay, so these principles are used as guidelines for the practicing executive managers. Okay, from experienced practicing managers. Okay, and here under classical approach, the functions, principles and skills of management are considered as universal. Okay, so they can be applied in different situations. Likewise, here under classical approach, formal education and training is emphasized for developing in managerial skills in would-be managers. Okay, why? Because up to that period there is no separate, management is not treated as a separate distinct discipline. So there is a requirement now to train the people in the organization in order to get a formal education to them, training to them. So it is stressed, emphasis is made on formal education and training. Okay, why? For developing the managerial skills in the coming managers, upcoming managers. Okay, likewise it emphasized on economic efficiency. Okay, economic efficiency and the formal structure should be there. So economic efficiency means the efficiency of the employees, that they should increase the productivity of the organization. And here people are, for that purpose, to increase the productivity, for that purpose they are motivated by economic gains, means who brings more output, they are paid more. Okay, so therefore organizations control economic activities. Okay, and here these are some of the features that a classical approach is having. Okay, so this classical approach was developed through three main streams. Okay, as I said before, it is those three main streams are bureaucratic theory, scientific management theory and administrative theory. Okay, so this bureaucratic theory is developed by Max Weber, scientific management theory is developed by F.W. Taylor, administrative theory by Henry Fayol. Okay, and he has developed 14 principles of management also. Okay, so all these three people, they have said that all these aspects. Okay, the three members theory are related to all these aspects only, like hierarchy, division of labor, standardization, centralization of authority, impersonal, fair pay, incentives, bureaucracy, administrative management. Okay, so all are the aspects. Each one highlighted some of the concepts of these things. So if we summarize these three concepts, means under classical approach we will get all these aspects. So what does hierarchy means here the theory, the classical approach theory, under the theories, they emphasizes that a hierarchical structure, an organization structure should be there with a chain of command. Okay, hierarchy means there should be a chain of command. Chain of command means from superior to subordinate. There will be three levels of management. Okay, top level, middle level, lower level management. So the orders and instructions should be followed through a organized structure, through a chain of command. Okay, so that is known as hierarchy, the organizational structure, chain of command. And if we see division of labor, so what does division of labor means? This theory, this classical approach, it says that it involves dividing the work into smaller parts. Why? To improve the performance of the individual workers. Okay, so by dividing the work, a large work, into smaller parts and hiring each part to each member, some of the members, means if that work is divided between the individual workers, means definitely it will improve the performance, because those persons will that work on that particular work only. Okay, for example, if we want to say, if we take McDonald's means, so we will that McDonald's follow this principle of division of labor means, so duff is prepared by one person because they'll prepare burgers. Okay, in order to prepare a burger, first of all a duff should be made. Okay, after duff formation, so they have to prepare mayonnaise, they have to prepare that sauces. Okay, so each work is done by each person, so the work is distributed between the persons, individual workers in the organization, and ultimately finally at the end of the day that product is prepared by the help of all those people. So this is division of labor. And if you see standardization, what does standardization means? This theory involves using a standardized approach towards the work. So standardization means as a proper process that should be followed in the throughout the organization. So that is known as a standard approach. So they will follow that standard approach only. Okay, for example, if we see same example, McDonald's example, so the ambience of the McDonald's will be in all over the country. If you see means the same ambience we will see, the same standardization, the same look, so we will see. Okay, so that is known as standardization. And centralization of authority, so the theory involves centralizing the authority. So centralization, it stresses on centralization of authority means powers should be in the hands of top level management only. Authority should be centralized in one person only. Okay, and it should be impersonal in the sense separation of work and personal life, both should be different. Work should be different, our personal life should be different. Okay, so our personal life should not influence on the work. So the theory involves separating the work and personal life. Likewise, fair pay is also stressed by this classical approach theorist. What does fair pay? The theory involves paying the people fairly according to their productivity. Okay, then after fair pay, incentives. Okay, so the theory involves using incentives. Why? In order to increase productivity and drive profits. If at all the persons who are working in the organization, if they produce more units means more pay will be given, more incentives will be given, so more profits will be given. Okay, so that is known as incentives. And if you see bureaucracy, so what does bureaucracy means? So the bureaucracy is the theory involved a formal system. Bureaucracy means which follows the strict rules and regulations. Okay, so it is a formal system of organization with clearly defined rules and regulations, roles and responsibilities, authority and power, hierarchical levels, okay, etc. So that is known as a bureaucracy. And administrative management. So administrative management means the theory involves a systematic way of operating. Okay, a systematic way of operating an organization with clearly defined tasks of each employee. Okay, clearly defined task for each employees. Okay, so that is administrative management. So all these are the features or else the principles, core principles of classical approach. So these from where these features or principles were taken means from these three theories we are deriving these core principles of classical approach. Okay, now if we see the next one is the neoclassical theory of management. Okay, so under neoclassical theory of management, what we will study means while this classical approach focused on attention on job, okay, it is giving more importance to productivity rather than people oriented. It is more concentrated on the increase of productivity in the organization. Okay, this classical approach based on increase the economic efficiency or else increase the productivity of organization. But here if you see neoclassical approach, it mostly it emphasizes on increase of the or else it will see it stresses the individuals performing the job. Okay, means it is more concerned with people oriented. Okay, people oriented. So neoclassical approach stresses on the importance of the people, human relations, behavior. Okay, the individuals, how the behavior influences the individuals performing their jobs. Okay, so their attention is directed towards the human aspects of management. Okay, but if you see in classical, the neglect of human factor and overemphasis on machines and materials led to the development of this approach, this classical approach. This leads to, why? Because classical approach is main emphasizes on machines and materials. Okay, only machine and materials, but it neglects the human factor. It overemphasizes on the machine and materials. Okay, but now this led to the classical approach. Okay, so here we can say that Elton Mayo will be considered as the founder of this behavioral school of thought. Okay, he pioneered the human relations to improve the levels of productivity and satisfaction, human relations. Okay, and he conducted also a famous Hawthorne experiments. Okay, so we'll let us learn those aspects in the next session. But as far as now, so this human relations theory, behavioral theory, all these are related to the Elton Mayo. Okay, he conducted certain experiments, and then depending upon those, these core principles were made. Okay, under neoclassical approach we will study all these core principles. So what are those core principles means? First one is social system. So what does social system means? The organization is a social system and human efforts affect its performance. Okay, we all know that even though organization means it consists of people. Without people there is no organization. So therefore human efforts affect its performance. Okay, so human efforts, they will affect the organizational performance. Next, human factor. So we have to consider human factor as an important element of the organization. Okay, then social and psychological factors means these factors also play a key role in determining the employee satisfaction. Okay, employee satisfaction and productivity. Okay, employee satisfaction and productivity. So if at all the employees of the organization, if they are fulfilled with their social needs, psychological needs, okay, so then definitely they will work in the organization and they will try to increase the productivity of the organization. Okay, and through these social and psychological factors, ultimately the employee gets satisfied and productivity will be increased. And the other one is management skills. Okay, so what does management skills means? Managers should develop social and leadership skills in addition to technical skills. Nowadays technical skills is very, very important. We are going for digitalizations, okay, of the organizations, e-commerce, online marketing. So therefore managers, they should develop along with social and leadership skills in addition to technical skills also. So technical skills, along with technical skills, now social and leadership skills also should be improved. Why? Because managers should have a leadership qualities. Okay, the very main thing under leadership qualities is empathy and emotional intelligence. Okay, so empathy and emotion, if at all a person has empathy and emotional intelligence, then he can lead his team, okay, in a proper way. Then no disturbances can be seen in the organization, in his department. And if you see employee welfare, okay, so employee welfare is, we are seeking for the welfare of the organization, is seeking for the welfare of the workers. Okay, then only if at all the workers are treated well, if they are provided with good environment, good working condition, good infrastructure facilities in the work environment, definitely it increases the productivity of the organization. So employee welfare should be reminded by the organization. So all these things are discussed under the neoclassical approach. These are all the primary principles of neoclassical approach. They stressed on the human relations, they stressed on the human factors. It is the important element in order to increase the performance of the organization. Okay, likewise, after employee welfare we will say employee moral also. Okay, this is the productivity of the organization is directly related to this employee moral. Okay, so employees should we have to increase, organization should increase the employee moral. Okay, so this employee moral will be increased. It depends upon the organization's behavior or organization's concern towards the employees. If at all organizations shows concern towards employees, if they try to know their pains and gains, then the employee automatically feels loyal to the organization and tries to be moral towards organization, and this impacts in the productivity of organization. Then behavioral science. So behavioral science means the neoclassical theory is an extension of the classical theory that includes behavioral science in business management. Okay, it is very important. Okay, so not only we are dealing with the machines, materials, but also it is important to deal with the behavior. Why? Because here the main aspect is human factor. So therefore the human behavior to study is very important in this business management. Then finally human relations. Okay, so human relations are also should be maintained properly, interrelations should be maintained properly. Okay, why? Because the human relations movement point out that management involves getting things done with and through people. Therefore the study of management should be based on interpersonal relations. Okay, so this is about the neoclassical approach. Now finally we are going for modern approach. So what does modern approach says? Okay, so under modern approach we are going to study about quantitative theory, contingency theory, systems theory. Okay, each theory highlights one important principle. Okay, so here if we study if we summarize all these three theories means, so we will come to know about all these core principles like contingency theory, change management, adaptability, creativity, organization efficiency and effectiveness. Okay, so so if we see the modern approaches. Okay, so under this modern approach, it is basically we can say that modern management is characterized by flexibility. Okay, modern management is created by flexibility. Okay, then collaboration, flexibility, collaboration, and focus on employee empowerment. Focus on employee empowerment. Modern management is characterized by flexibility, means we can change according to the situations. Okay, so according to the situations we can change, we can apply the theories, the principles. Okay, and according to that we can use those principles or theories. Likewise collaboration is very important. Okay, so collaboration with our team, collaboration with the external environment, so all these are very important in order for the growth of the organization. Okay, and a focus on employee empowerment also is there in modern approach. Why? Because employees are the backbone for the organizations. Without employees there is no organization. Therefore organizations are in modern approach, they are concentrating on the employees, because those are the people who are going to do the things in the organization, and those employees should be empowered. If they empowered, automatically productivity of the organization will be enriched. Okay, finally performance of the organization can be seen in a profitable way. So therefore modern approach comprises of with flexibility, collaboration, employee empowerment. So under this, these three theories will be studied, and the summary of those three theories, principles or features will be these things. Okay, So if we see contingency, okay, what does contingency means? The idea that there is no single management strategy that works for every company, and that the best approach depends on the circumstances. So that is why this contingency theory is also known as situational theory. Okay, so contingency theory is known as also situational theory. Why? Because ideas that the idea that there is no single management strategy, okay, that works for every company. For example, if we take 5 companies, so if we want to apply any principle, any theory on those, all those, for example, centralization of authority or else division of labor, if we take on all organizations, we cannot apply centralization of the authority. Why? Because it depends upon the size and nature of the management, okay, of the organization. So depending upon the situations, we have to apply the principles, okay. So that is known as contingency theory, okay. And also we cannot say the best approach depends on also the circumstances only, okay. So therefore managers should adopt their style to suit specific situations, okay. Then if we study change management. So what is change management? A critical skill in modern management that focuses on how to manage the implementation of change, okay. So if at all there is any change in the management needs, immediately it is responded by the employees of the organizations. They will oppose the change. For example, if the organization want to adopt technology, okay, in place of the employees, then immediately the employees will oppose that thing. Why? Because in the fear of the job loss, they will oppose the technology, okay, technological advancement. So it is the manager who has to be very skilled, and he has to communicate in a better way to understand the situations, and that they may not lose their jobs, but it is only adopting a technology in order to increase the productivity of the organization. So change management means it includes a critical skill in modern management, okay. Means it is how to manage the implementation of change in the organization. And if you see adaptability, empathy and integrity. So adaptability means we are adapting the new changes, okay. And empathy means here you have to know about empathy. Why? Because empathy means we have to, and as a manager, for example, as a manager, we have to understand the feelings and emotions of the subordinate. We have to think in his place, okay. Then we have to feel those emotions, okay. That is known as empathy. Then only the manager will be able to understand the subordinates situation, okay. So for a manager there should be a quality of adaptability, empathy and integrity also, okay. So these are the important traits or else qualities for a modern manager, okay, in order to be competitive, in order to stay competitive in the market. Then creativity. Then a workplace that fosters creativity can naturally boost productivity. If our organization is working very well innovatively, okay, creatively, then definitely it will sustain in the market and it will boost our productivity. And if you see organization, so organization means managers need to keep their projects, files, communications in an organized manner, systematic manner. Why? Because in order to limit their stress on their team and promote productivity, okay. So organization, it is very, very important. Then efficiency and effectiveness means efficiency and effectiveness are the cornerstones of the management process. We all study with minimum cost and optimum utilization of resources should be done, okay, with minimum cost. So that is known as efficiency and effectiveness. So all these are the core principles regarding the modern approach, okay. So this is about the introduction regarding the classical approach, neoclassical approach and modern approach. Under these are the different theories we are going to study. But as far as now I have discussed about this classical approach. Under classical approach there are 3 theories, okay, and we are now summarizing those 3 theories core principles into these things, okay. So all these core principles are the summary of these 3 theories. Likewise, all these principles or features are summary of these 2 theories. Likewise, these 3 theories summary is these features, okay. So this is about evolution of management thought, and in coming classes we will try to learn each and every classical, neoclassical, modern approach in separate sessions, okay. I'll take one class for classical approach, another class for neoclassical approach, and another class for modern approach. So we will do 3 parts for this evolution of management thought, okay. Under classical approach we are going to study these 3 theories, okay. We will cover these 3 theories. So this is about the evolution of management thought.